Brad Carr.
Good afternoon. I'm going to read it because I'm not an extemporaneous speaker. I grew up here in New Hampshire. I'm a 10th generation New Hampshire person, believing that America was a nation based on the rule of law and not of men. In the past 6 years, I've become disillusioned with that idea. I've seen the people who run our country at the very highest levels do things that I don't think are right. We've become like a banana republic or a rogue nation, sending our troops and mercenaries to the far side of the world, starting illegal wars. We were never attacked by Afghanistan or by Iraq. They were predominantly Saudis, but since we're in bed with Saudi Arabia because of oil, we didn't attack Saudi Arabia. We are looked upon by the rest of the world as a nation of bullying, torturing thugs. That is not who I am, and that is not who you are. We must hold accountable those who have brought us to this place. Without impeachment, there are no checks and balances to the usurpation of constitutional power by the administration, by the executive branch. This is not about left or right, it's about right and wrong. We know who is responsible for the situation we find ourselves in. Only impeachment will begin to heal the damage that has been done to our country. Will we be a nation of sheep ruled by wolves? The rich and powerful count on us acting like sheep in order to maintain and further their agenda. Make no mistake, if we do not stand up and use the power of impeachment granted us under the Constitution, our children's children will never know the breed. Thank you.
My name is Herbert J. Hoffman. I reside in Algonquin, Maine. However, I'd like to note that I was born and brought up in the city of Manchester, New Hampshire, which I wear that heritage proudly and lived there for the first 19 years of my life. Now, I'd like to clarify that impeachment is not a punishment. Impeachment is designed to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. These are phrases, this is a phrase that may be familiar to all of you, or should be, because I and every member of this committee, and perhaps many out here in the audience, have taken an oath of office, whether it be in New Hampshire, or in Massachusetts, Vermont, Maine, wherever. And in that oath of office, not only are you in New Hampshire obligated to protect your Constitution, but you're also taking an oath to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution of the United States. And so that is what we're here today about. We're here to talk about how can we preserve this Constitution, this great Constitution that is our heritage, and which is the source of our governance. New Hampshire has an opportunity again to be a leader. It was one of the 13 states that, or colonies, that signed not only the Declaration of Independence, but also signed the Constitution, as signatories of the Constitution. You have the first primary in the country, and this will be an opportunity for New Hampshire to be the first state legislature to bring forth a resolution to the House of Representatives for impeachment. Impeachment is an investigation. The punishment is for the criminal and civil courts. Impeachment is to preserve the Constitution. There's been some discussion about, well, we really have to spend our time on roads and infrastructure, et cetera, et cetera. One of the issues here before you is that this illegal and immoral war that is being conducted is sapping the monies from our country, is sapping the federal monies which belong here, some of them belong here in New Hampshire, to help you not only provide repairs to your infrastructure, enhance your educational opportunities, provide health care services. These monies are being deprived, social services being deprived because of what is happening as a result of this illegal and immoral war. I'd like to speak to Representative Baldessari. You have asked this question repeatedly today, and it's an excellent question, and that is, do you personally have proof of an impeachable offense? Is that a correct phrase? I do. I have personal, yes, I do. I have personal proof of it. And you do too, because you will recognize it shortly. It is a crime to lie, to mislead a nation, this country, into an act of war. You may recall that Vice President Cheney publicly, on television, stated, not only prior to the inception of hostilities, not only did Iraq possess weapons of mass destruction, but he knew where they were. And that is an impeachable offense because, one, they did not possess those weapons, and two, he must have known that they did because he knew where they were. So that had to be a fabrication. And that, I submit, is a basis. I will also note that it takes only one article of impeachment to bring the trial forth.
If I may. Of course, thank you for your question. I understand what you're saying there. And myself, who served in Desert Storm, who was there when the Scuds went off in the sky, who was there when our nuclear MBC alarms went off, and had nothing to do with uranium. Okay, they had to do with aligning this with chemicals. But that's neither here or say because I'm one who gets tested every 6 months. Okay, which was the forgotten Desert Storm syndrome stuff. But
What must be
anyways,
the reason for that testing?
it has nothing to do with, it has to do with the chemicals that they had there. That it couldn't even be the pills we took. But what I want to get at here is Europe, all the other Islamic countries all believed he had weapons of mass destruction. Every one of them. Even though he said what he did on the floor, the intel reports from many other countries stated he in fact had them. It wasn't just our country. Would you agree with that?
Only partially. But what is your point, sir?
My point is that how can we go after a president on saying that he lied on the weapons of mass destruction? First of all, it took us 4 or 5 months to go to the...
Excuse me, I was referring to Vice President Cheney. Yes, I agree, he probably is the president,
Right.
but it is Vice President Cheney.
Now, Vice President Cheney, but President Bush was the one who gave the speech, right?
So you're talking about the UN speech?
Right.
Oh,
I'm not talking about the UN speech.
oh, but
It's a matter of public record that Vice President Cheney, pumping up the move to war, stated that weapons of mass destruction were possessed by the nation of Iraq and that he knew where those weapons were.